Are you ready for grade 10 math? My top 10 targets, and here I'm talking about pinpoints for preparational focus to be ready for math 10, 10C in Alberta, or grade 10 math, my top 10 targets. And think of it as being an archer, aiming at a target. What are the pinpoints for focus as we prepare? Put yourself in the best position to be successful in grade 10 math. So come along as I share my top 10 targets to get you ready to handle the rigors of math, grade 10 math. Now here I'm just going to touch on them very briefly, but in the description I'll leave a link, and that link is to a page on the Grand Math Connection that has further information and instruction on each of these 10 targets, and there will be some practice questions with solutions to go along with them. Number 1, know the times tables. Having a solid grasp of the multiplication table will assist with so many skills. And the time you spend on mastering it will definitely be worth it. You got to trust me on this one. Number 2, know how to perform integer operations. Do you know what this is? What about that one? This one? So we got add, subtract, multiply, divide. We're working with integers. Do you know what the answers are? If you do, maybe you got a good grasp on it. But if you don't, then there are some resources that you can look at that can help you to understand how to work with integers and what operations and how we apply these operations. How to perform operations on fractions. So is it correct that 2 over 3 plus 5 over 6 equals 7 over 9? In other words, do we add the numerators and then add the denominators? No, it doesn't work that way. There's certain skills in dealing with fractions that we have to be aware of, and fractions pop up over and over again. You want to have a really good handle on all the operations on fractions. Number 4, basic algebraic solving skills. So for example, in order to isolate, in other words, get a letter by itself on one side of the equal sign, in order to isolate x, given 2x minus 19 equals 55. Do you know when to add, subtract, multiply, or divide a number on both sides of the equal sign? There are tons of situations in math where a variable or a letter needs to be isolated by itself on one side of the equal sign. And we do that by these adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing numbers. You can think of it kind of as a question of balance, but these basic algebraic skills are super important. Number 5, the equation of a line and slope. Slope is the steepness of a line, and mathematically we can assign a value to it. And I like to think of slope as this, like it is the steepness of a line, but say when you're skiing, the steepness of the slope, a black diamond or a bunny hill, the steepness is quite a bit different. Now, math is about relationships, and an equation of a line, which you talk about a lot in grade 10 math, and then in grade 11, and then in grade 12. But an equation of a line is one way to describe a relationship. So you want to have an understanding of an equation of a line, and in particular, the slope. Number 6, knowing and applying exponent laws. They pop up over and over again. This little chart shows the rule and then an example. How confident are you with knowing and applying the exponent laws? Number 7, Pythagorean theorem, one of my favorites. Essentially, we've got a right angle triangle. The square off of the longest side, the hypotenuse, is equal to the sum of the squares on the other two sides. Now, I like to state it this way. The hypotenuse squared, or the longest side squared, is equal to side squared plus side squared. More often than not, letters are used, A, B, and C, and quite often A and B are the sides and C is the hypotenuse. But I do prefer this way to look at it. And in these questions, you either know the hypotenuse or you're trying to find it. And it is one of the most popular theorems that you're going to come across in high school math, and knowing and understanding and applying it in grade 10, really important. Number 8, the language. You ever been in a classroom and the teacher's talking and you just don't understand what's going on? Okay, so certain terms, in this case, term is a polynomial term, but a building block, if you will. But do you know what a term is? How about a coefficient? Monomial, binomial, trinomial? Constant, degree, factoring, variable. Like these are all examples of the language that is used for polynomials. This abstract language that we have, and we apply these words to skills that we're going to learn and practice. Knowing the language. Now, very specifically piggybacking on this one, specifically factors and multiples. I think sometimes those keep coming up and not quite sure what do they mean again. 4 times 3 is 12. We say that 4 and 3 are factors of 12, numbers multiplied together to get something else. But we say 12 is a multiple of 3 or a multiple of 4 because 3 and 4 divide into 12. Or the square and square root notion. They're similar, but they're different. Do you know what the difference is? So for example, square root of 25 is equal to 5 because the square root of 25 means what number times itself is 25, i.e. 5. Or if you take 5 squared, 5 to an exponent of 2, 5 times 5, that's 5 squared, that's equal to 25. Okay, squares versus square roots. Order of operations. I got this little chart, and it's stated differently, a little bit differently, depending on what resource you're going to. So PEMDAS, PEMDAS, perhaps is an acronym to remember. A lot of people use bed mass, but the P is for parentheses, or you could use B for brackets. So that would be the first, and then exponents, and then multiply or divide as you go left to right, add or subtract as you go left to right. But understanding the order of operations when given a question would be really important. So there you have it. It's a list of my targets to pinpoint the preparation to enter Math 10 in grade 10, Math 10C in Alberta. Enter and feel confident. If you understand these 10 items, these 10 targets, I believe strongly you put yourself in a really good position to have success. So just check the link in the description below, and the best of luck to you.